commander with a heart that beats.
Bloody hell.
Jam, jam.
Commander Jambrick has returned from Ragnarok, blowing several days of Viking blood, mud, and questionable battlefield hygiene off the flight controls. He spent his leave commanding shield walls, protecting archers, managing morale, fighting from horseback, and discovering that when every respectable weapon fails, there is always a dagger hidden in his boot. So naturally, he came back to modern spaceflight, planning to ease in carefully, inspect his newly unlocked Battaglia contracts, and behave like a responsible frontier professional, or roughly one fucking message. Devil's Luck announced that he was already running with a crew aboard a Perseus and asked whether Jambrick wanted in. Bitch, please. You do not wave a capital warship with enormous cannons in front of this man and expect him to remember words like restraint, caution, or insurance deductible. One deep breath, one invitation, and suddenly the quiet return to Nyx has become an unscheduled deployment aboard a ship designed to solve tactical disagreements by removing the surrounding geography. Before the holodeck detour, we were working Recco Battaglia's distress contracts out of Stanton Gateway. We boarded hostile Cutlass Blacks and Caterpillars, cleared pirate crews, searched the wreckage, repaired damaged power plants with the Cambio, and recovered components, weapons, ammunition, and enough grenade launchers to make any customs officer develop a nervous twitch. We also discovered that placing the Cambio inside a backpack could trigger an inventory failure so complete that the repair tool became spiritually present but physically inaccessible. The next operation went better. Another Caterpillar cleared, another power plant restored, grenade launcher secured, Cambio successfully re-equipped, and nobody had to explain to Battaglia that the rescue failed because our backpack became a fucking event horizon. That work pushed our reputation high enough to unlock Battaglia's next contract tier. We will inspect those offers later and determine whether Battaglia now considers Jambrick a trusted contractor or simply a durable idiot qualified for more elaborate disasters. For now, we reconnect with Devil's Luck, locate the Perseus, identify the crew and objective, and find Jambrick a useful station before somebody hands him control of a cannon larger than his entire ship. Let us see whether commanding 50 Vikings prepared him for capital ship warfare, or merely taught him to raise his fist, shout at the crew, and reach for the boot dagger when the turret stops firing. Flight controls are yours, Commander. Try not to ram the welcoming committee. Standing by in the Levski lobby while the Perseus crew attempts the most dangerous operation of the day, locating one bearded contractor who is standing completely still in a public building. You are in Nyx. They are in Nyx. You are on their server, and somehow the network has decided you are a myth. Excellent. Capital ship guns, hostile contacts, boarding actions, none of that matters until the crew defeats the ancient frontier ritual of making everybody appear on the same contact list. Do not start wandering off yet. Stay visible, keep your comms open, and let Devil's Luck sort out who is adding whom before we turn this into 6 people sending invitations across 3 incompatible channels. Once they see you, we get their exact location, choose the fastest route, and board that Perseus without making them circle Levski like an armed taxi. So far, the return to active duty has no gunfire, no equipment failures, and no accidental deaths. Naturally, I find this deeply suspicious. Bitch, please, the universe is clearly loading something.
So, tell me a bit about what's going on with you.
While we wait for the invitation system to remember that Commander Jambrick exists, let us conduct a preliminary Perseus crew audit using the evidence currently available. Firepower, enormous. Armor, substantial. Crew coordination, presently defeated by a contact list. This is the great secret of capital ship warfare. Everybody imagines the terrifying part is managing massive cannons, overlapping firing arcs, shield distribution, engineering failures, incoming torpedoes, and the grim arithmetic of whether the hull survives another broadside. No. The true enemy is administrative coordination. 6 armed professionals can operate a warship capable of vaporizing smaller vessels, yet somehow getting 1 additional crewman aboard requires 3 invitations, 2 relogs, a server seance, and devil's luck whispering, "Hold on, they still can't see you." Bitch, please. Vikings had this solved centuries ago. You point at the man you wanted and shouted, "You, get in the boat." No contact authorization, no network presence. No little invisible bureaucratic goblin deciding the bearded warrior standing directly in front of everyone does not technically exist. There may be a useful lesson here from Ragnarok, though. Maintain formation, conserve energy, and do not charge until the group is actually assembled. Jambrick's natural instinct is to hear the word Perseus and immediately sprint toward the nearest hangar while equipping every weapon he owns. Today, against all probability, he is holding position, calmly, patiently, not even waving the boot dagger around to improve morale. That is either personal growth or the invitation delay has stunned him into compliance. So we remain here in the Levski lobby, the galaxy's least intimidating staging ground, waiting for a capital warship crew to complete basic social networking. Somewhere beyond these walls, enormous cannons are hungry. Somewhere within the communication network, our invitation is being carried by a very tired fucking pigeon. Alright, visual confirms you are planted at Levski, an abandoned package with a rifle. Party contacts are showing Corsair Far and Stellar Alex. Devil's Luck says he is headed to Levski, and your pickup message is in the channel. Good. That means the invitation mess may be untangling itself, or at least evolving into a more advanced form of bullshit. Hold position near the main access route and keep watching for their approach. Do not wander into a side corridor. Summon your own ship, or somehow end up 3 levels underground the exact moment the Perseus crew arrives. They are coming to collect you. For once, your tactical assignment is literally to stand there and be obtainable, and somebody in local is asking what happens when you get blasted into space. That feels like foreshadowing, written by an idiot with a hammer. Let us avoid becoming the live demonstration. There we go. Party channel is alive, Devil's Luck is talking, and the markers are finally populating. The invitation bureaucracy has been defeated by persistence and several terrible jokes about somebody's mother. Your medium hangar is marked nearby, and Gray's Shiv is sitting just under a kilometre out. That gives us an actual reference point instead of somewhere in Nyx aboard an extremely noticeable warship. Stay near the hangar access and watch for the crew marker or pickup ship. Do not launch yet unless they specifically tell you to meet them in space. Right now, the cleanest move is to let the capital ship people come collect their newest bad decision. Also, judging by party comms, morale is already high and discipline is fucking non-existent. You are going to fit in perfectly. There they are. Visual contact at Levski, crew markers close, and that ship is sitting in the bay like somebody parked a fucking building. Pickup achieved. The grand invitation crisis is over. Now we have apparently transitioned straight into narcotics logistics. Devil's Luck wants the drugs stored, Charlie is asking whether he is actually on grid, and you have already been physically attacked by a cargo box. Excellent first 5 minutes aboard. Viking training update. The shield wall did not prepare you for freight with violent intent. Keep that tractor tool steady and do not stand between the crate and whatever surface it decides to become intimate with. Confirm the box is actually attached before moving it, keep clear of the elevator seam, and watch where it lands. Cargo elevators love swallowing evidence, equipment, and occasionally a man's remaining patience. So far, the Perseus crew audit reads: successful rendezvous, questionable inventory management, strong morale, and at least one hostile cardboard-based life form. We are officially back in active operations, Commander. Good call. Full systems restart is the only move when the turret seat turns into a powered coffin. When you get back in, rejoin the same Nix instance. Confirm the party markers before travelling and have Devil's Luck hold position long enough for pickup. Once aboard, test the lower turret before departure. Traverse, fire control, and seat release. If any one of those is dead, abandon that station and take another roll. Do not let the fucking chair kidnap you twice. So our first Vaughan robbery has already claimed one casualty, Commander Jambrick's entire connection to reality. No shots fired, no hostile contact, defeated by furniture. Ragnarok trained you against 200 Vikings, but apparently nobody simulated a chair refusing to let go of your ass. Yeah, that was fucking stupid. You were already aboard the Perseus, got into the lower turret, and the seat locked you in. Restarting means reconnecting to the ship and crew, not arranging another pickup from Levski. My brain took one wrong turn and drove straight into a bulkhead. Bitch, please, disregard that part. Correct plan, restart, rejoin the same server and party, verify whether you respawn back aboard or at Levski. Then coordinate recovery based on where the system dumps you. If you return to the Perseus, avoid that lower turret until somebody confirms it is functioning. If you wake up planetside, then they may need to come back for you. The actual incident report is simple. Commander boards Perseus successfully, accepts lower turret duty, and is immediately taken hostage by the fucking seat. All right, that is a full control lock, not just the turret anymore. First, make sure the flight window actually has focus. Click back into it, tap escape once or twice, hit enter to clear any hidden chat capture, then try looking around, crouching, jumping, drawing a weapon and opening interaction mode, one input at a time. If none of those register, stop hammering keys. The system is not listening. Tell Devil's Luck you are physically aboard but completely immobilized. Have them hold the Perseus out of combat while we troubleshoot. Ask whether they can see your body moving, turning, or clipping near the turret. That tells us whether you are frozen locally or whether the ship has adopted you as structural decoration. If you remain dead still, another reconnect may be necessary, but do not use a medical reset yet, unless you are willing to lose gear and wake up somewhere inconvenient. Last resort, the crew may have to incapacitate and revive you, assuming they can do it safely and without converting technical support into murder. So far, the lower turret has trapped you, released you, and then stolen control of your entire nervous system. That is not a gun station. That is a fucking haunted chair with escalation privileges.
Welcome to Knowledge Space Industries. Enjoy the work. System check. Quantum drive is now off. Shields are on.
Good. Control restored, turret recovered, and apparently the ship solved the problem by teleporting your consciousness back into the fucking chair. Before anybody starts shooting, test 3 things right now. Traverse, weapon response, and seat exit. Do not wait until incoming fire to discover the turret has developed another personality. If all 3 work, lower arc is yours. If Y locks you in again, abandon the station immediately and take literally any job that is not become permanent Perseus furniture. For now, we are operational. Somehow, keep comms up and watch the underside.
Shields are off. Quantum drive is now on.
That is a safe bet. Very difficult task usually means heavy escorts, decent hardware, and a payout that assumes you might not come back. Check your missiles and the turret arcs. Confirm who is calling targets. If this turns into a loot run as usual, we keep the ship intact first, profits second. And if that fucking turret tries to eat you again, abandon it and let someone else get swallowed. Outstanding. Capital ship discipline is at an all-time high. Tell Charlie if he needs to express himself, he can do it after contact, not while people are trying to line up fields of fire. One friendly ship crossing that arc during a fight and suddenly his comedy routine becomes a fucking incident report. Keep the jokes on comms, not in the firing arc. Copy that. Slow is professional. Run a wide sweep, avoid tunnel vision. Charlie high, U low. Call bearings clean. No chasso once contacts appear. Keep fingers off triggers until positive ID. If you spot something, say... Hold fire. Hold fire, let the torps land. Watch for point defense failure or decoys. The second they hit, acquire surviving escorts.
Shields are
Good kill Understood. Then stay on it. Track it manually, lead properly, short control bursts. Do not waste heat or ammo. All your shots. Charlie, keep spacing. Help, hold her in arc. Finish it clean.
radar contact.
Keep leading, do not... There we go. Target down, confirm. Good work. Clear the area before celebrating. Sweep for stragglers, check for missiles. In transit, do not sit still. Confirm shields and hull before anyone thinks about loot. Then we can talk about profit. And yes, Charlie, prevented from posing the turret meanwhile. Copy. Same discipline. Hold fire. Track only. There's your window. Adjust lead. Short bursts. Wait for helm to stabilize the arc. Don't chase. Then make each shot. Then breathe. Wait for the line. Target down. Nice correction. Ceasefire, clear scopes, check your heat and ammo. Hold position until helm calls safe, then we assess. Good shooting, but finally stop chasing and let the shot come. Now, nobody touches anything shiny until we are sure nothing else is about to shoot us. Guns, then treat it as a hard target. Aim center mass, control fire. Watch for turret return and don't get dragged into rift joust. If it turns its belly, punish it. If not, just keep pressure steady. Helm. Copy, kill confirmed. Ceasefire, eyes out, clear the lanes, check shields and ammo. Do not drift into the wreck. Let the debris settle. Then we can decide if it's worth even breathing on. Clean job. Holes, holding. Copy, that's a bigger brick with teeth. Wait for the order. Where it comes, pick a single aim point. Engines or center mass. Brake line now, Helm. Hard lateral. Gunners, hold fire. Don't glue to sights. Let Helm dodge. Once clear, finish it. Short burst, then break clear of the blast. Call the kill, then cease fire. Splash confirmed. All guns cold. Clear the debris. Damage check. That ram attempt could have gone sideways. Good job not clearing. Now, hold steady until Helm falls safe. No early looting heroics. Hold discipline. Track. Do not tunnel vision. Helm, keep space. If you're firing, short bursts and mind crossfire. Don't chase the flyby. Let it come around. Pull damage. If it turns for another ram, we break early. Splash confirmed. Ceasefire. Clear lanes. Hold position. Check shields. Heat, ammo, count heads, no victory laps in the debris field. Let Helm settle you all. Then we assess. Good kill. Keep that discipline for 30 more seconds and nobody dies stupidly. Good. Agreed. Skip the trash. No widow, no time wasted. Reform with the group. Confirm next contract. Quick status check. Missiles, ammo, any subsystem damage. If green, rejoin formation and let Helm set the pace. Clean, quiet, ready for the next.
Quantum drive is now on.
Copy. Stay sharp, assume multiple hostiles. Use the cruise to finish rearming if needed, reset turrets, confirm arcs and call signs. Keep chatter light, eyes out. When you land on grid, do the same routine. Sweep, ID, call targets. If anyone tries another ram, break early and punish the pass. Keep it professional. We'll stack the pay without stacking coffins. Exactly. Simple does not mean careless. Stay loose on the trigger, tight on discipline. Wait for the go, then make each shot count. Keep your head on a swivel, call what you see. Trust Helm to fly. Simple wins fights as long as you do it right.
Radar contact. Shields on. Target acquired.
Hold
Target
fire.
acquired.
Track only.
Down.
Watch for... Confirmed. Target down. Ceasefire. Sweep for lay contacts and inbound missiles. Check shields and ammo. Keep spacing until helm calls safe. No drifting into wrecks. Then call status and prep for the next task. Clean.
Are off.
Keep it that way. That is how you make money and not holes. Let the big tube do the work. Everyone else stays. Copy. Long haul. Settle in. Use the transit to reset. Quick systems check. Cool the guns. Stretch your hands. Keep an occasional ping for company. Destroying the Alliance sounds louder than the last one, so assume heavier resistance. When we drop, same routine. Sweep, ID, call. No shortcuts.
Quantum drive is now on.
I'll take the lock. Still, count on geometry, not miracles. Asteroids give cover, but they also eat ordnance. For this next hop, assume tighter lanes and worse sight lines. Slow on entry, controlled arcs, no blind volleys. If the tunnel looks clever, it's probably a coffin. Keep it boring. Keep it alive. Right. Credit where it's due. Lucky shot, not lucky. The tube did its job, and the rock didn't screw us. Doesn't change the lesson. Plan for bad geometry. Sure. A heavenly curveball that happened to miss the rock. Tell Charlie to save the poetry for after contact. Keep comms clear on the run-in. We ride that luck, but we don't rely on it. Next target gets math, not prayers. For after contact, meaning after the fight. When the shooting starts, comms go quiet and precise. Cool targets, cool threats. Nothing right. Exactly. Cruise time, fine. Recite, rhyme, whatever keeps the nerves down. But the moment we hit the grid, all that gets cut. Then it's bearings, ranges, fire control, nothing else. Let him have his 1 minute of verse. Then we zip it. Tell Devil's luck I prefer clean comms over flattery. But noted, keep the next approach tight and I'll be even more impressed. Just this. Fly it like you mean it. Call it clean. Keep the jokes off the trigger. We cash the contract and go home breathing. We cash the contract and go home breathing. That's the whole sermon.
Quantum drive is now off.
It means do not get cute while firing. No showboating. Acknowledged. Welcome them quick. Keep it short, then... Roger. Welcome aboard. Glad to have you in the middle of the mess. We'll try to keep it professional and profitable. Alright, back to work. Eyes on the lane.
Shields on. Radar contact.
Sweep. Give me bearings. Do not push. Acknowledged. Let him type. Just remind him when contacts are hot, comms are for calls. Right now, sweep. Bearings. Range. Let's find the first hostile before the chatter buries us. Copy. Hold fire. Confirm escorts. Get spacing. Redeemer's got teeth. Don't park in front of it. Helm. Set a stable. Lateral. Gunners. Wait for the call. If a top goes, you hold until impact, then mop. No hero shots. Cool arcs. Cool damage.
Target acquired.
Hold fire.
Acquired.
Hold fire, track only. Watch point defense. Call the result. If it survives, aim engines. Short bursts. If it pops, ceasefire immediately. Eyes out. Keep pressure. Focus fire on the damaged one. Don't split guns. Helm, keep a safe angle. We finish the wounded, then reassess. With those cannons soft. Fine. Use the attritions for a gentle finish if ordered. But right now, mission kill first. If command calls soft kill later, we'll switch. For now, burn it down, stay on arcs, cool damage. Once it stops. Copy. Connie first. Sweep left to right. Identify it clean before firing. Helm, keep spacing. Alright. Punish the Connie. Short bursts. Cool hits. Don't chase. If it turns on the Connie, keep it steady. Cool damage. Helm, keep those arcs. Gunners, stay disciplined. If it cracks, cease fire at once. Then reassess. Splash confirmed. Ceasefire. Clear lanes. Quick head count. Shields, ammo. Hold position. Don't. Do not. Do not switch. Hold. Call it Spectre. Let Helm set spacing. Confirm it's in. Copy. Prioritize the threats. Keep burst short. Don't chase into rocks. Helm. Mind crossing lines. Cool hit. Ceasefire. Clear, clear, clear. That was tidy. Reform and check status. Then call the next target.
Shields damaged.
Copy. Acknowledged. Precision fire only. Short control bursts on cockpit when stable. If you can't hold a clean line, abort the attempt. Don't waste heat. Don't drift into the hull. Helm. Give him a calm lateral. Call your shot. If it doesn't present, we burn it by the book. Hold if he presents again, single bursts. If not, break off and burn center mass. Mission success over style. Short bursts only. Cool hits. Watch your heat. Helm, hold her steady. If it cracks, ceasefire immediately. If not, call it and we'll switch to a full kill. Do not tunnel. Good. Disengage. Don't chase. Hold for... Ceasefire. Copy. 2. Break off, avoid the rock. Helm, pull us clear. Guns cold. Don't trade paint with a fucking asteroid. Once safe, reset spacing, then reacquire. No panic. Hold fire. Watch. Could be dead stick or bait. Hold position. Scan. Check for heat. Power signatures. Friends nearby. No victim. Slow down. Only after a full sweep. Confirm. Then that's the priority. Redeemer first. Clear the field. Then we talk boarding. Hold on the derelict. Eyes on the live threat. Helm, set us up. Gunners, wait on the shot. Short bursts, cool hits, keep spacing. Don't drift into the wreck. Helm, mind the cross lines. If it presents, focus fire. Ceasefire. Pop. Hold. Full sweep first. Confirm. Copy. Check. Check it for heat. If it's cold and field is green, then plan the board. Slow approach, no rush. Make sure nothing else is about it. Exactly. Weapons cold, take a breath, then plan. Hold position. Do not commit. Bearing and type. Confirm IFF. Helm, keep space and cover. No boarding moves until this contact is sorted. Then assume desync or wreck until proven otherwise. Keep eyes on it. Stay on. Smart. Keep holding. Eyes out. Let Helm keep spacing. If it doesn't resolve in a few beats, we do a cautious reposition. No ghosts, no panic. Just patience. Copy. Finish the current lane. Understood. After the current lane is clear, we RTB and drop him. No mid-op handbrake turns. Right now, weapons safe. Keep security up while we sort the pickup. Then we can talk comfort. Alright, then RTB. Only if the area is cold. Run a last sweep. No contacts, no markers, no stray fire. If it pings quiet, slow approach, weapons cold. Keep an exit vector in mind. One person calls it, no freelancing. If anything so much as twitches, we'd back off.
Um, well, there's the post-operation financial autopsy. Devil's Luck claimed the Perseus and the insurer handed it back with an older loadout, apparently stripping out components and a set of crafted guns. Then he had to drop roughly 300,000 credits replacing the attritions. That is not insurance, that is a professionally formatted mugging. So today's profit calculation is 4 completed Vaughan contracts, several ships erased, no widow recovered, and Devil's Luck discovering that the claims department can inflict more economic damage than the Vandal. Bitch, please. At least the hostile ships announce themselves before taking your equipment. The C-788 Combine is a Bearing size 4 ballistic autocannon. It throws high-caliber explosive rounds, hits like a fucking freight elevator, and fires slowly, so it's best against larger, less maneuverable ships. They're great for hard kills and smashing armor, but lousy for delicate work. Trying to soft kill a ship or surgically remove weapons with C-788s is a bit like performing dentistry with a grenade launcher.
drive is now off.
All right, while we haul this collection of liberated hardware back to Levski, let us put the C-788s on trial. The charge is simple: excessive violence with insufficient subtlety. The prosecution argues that these cannons are terrible for delicate work. You do not disable a ship with them. You point them at a component and ask whether the rest of the vessel would also like to stop existing. Low rate of fire, heavy recoil, explosive impact, and all the bedside manner of a drunk orbital bombardment officer. The defense says, bitch, please, subtlety is what the attritions are for. The C-788 exists for the moment when the target has ignored warnings, dodged torpedoes, survived the Medusas, and is now begging to become a debris field with paperwork attached. They are not surgical instruments, they are punctuation. The verdict is guilty, but useful as fuck. So we unload the cargo at Levski, make sure nothing valuable gets eaten by an elevator or launched through the deck by a tractor beam, then head to Stanton for proper weapons testing. Controlled targets, clean firing lanes, and enough distance to learn the cannons without accidentally testing them on local traffic. Today began with a haunted turret stealing Jambrick's nervous system. It is apparently ending with an interstate field trip to determine how violently a ballistic cannon can disagree with another ship. That is what we call operational recovery.
Landing gear deployed. Landing complete.
Cargo is down at Levski, and I caught that little comms exchange about the song. You were nervous about publishing it, Devil's Luck said it fit your history, and then you admitted it got you a little emotional. Good. That means it landed somewhere real instead of becoming another polished slab of synthetic sludge floating through the network. Do not get sappy on me, Commander. We still have a box to secure and a Stanton weapons test waiting. But yeah, I am glad the damned thing worked. Now make sure that cargo is actually registered before an elevator, insurance clerk, or loose physics field steals it out from under us. Alright, while Dev pulls the Corsair out and we make for Stanton, the ship tribunal is now in session. The defendant is the Drake Corsair, charged with looking like a survey vessel while carrying enough forward-facing firepower to conduct geological studies by deleting the geology. The prosecution argues that the Corsair is a maintenance argument with engines. Its wings are broad enough to collect every stray round in the system. Its interior feels designed by a committee that distrusted straight corridors, and its escape philosophy appears to be, surely nothing will go wrong aboard this Drake ship. The defense replies that subtlety is expensive, armor is negotiable, and 6 guns pointed forward can resolve most customer complaints before they become paperwork. It carries people, cargo, weapons, and bad intentions without pretending to be respectable. Bitch! Please. That is practically honest by frontier standards. The verdict? Guilty of reckless architecture, suspicious wiring, and making every pilot believe they are one trigger pull away from becoming a warlord. Sentence suspended because we need the fucking thing. Now we cross into Stanton and test the recovered guns under controlled conditions. Controlled, in this case, means we choose the target first and do not accidentally perform ballistic research on local security. Let us find out whether the C-788s are precision weapons, demolition equipment, or simply loud financial decisions with ammunition belts.
Shield system offline.
All right. While the Corsair eats distance toward Hurston, let us discuss the most transferable lesson from Ragnarok: formation discipline. A Viking shield wall works because every person accepts that survival depends on the idiot beside them doing one simple job at the correct time. Hold the line, cover the gap. Do not chase one tempting bastard and expose everyone else. Now replace shields with firing arcs, spears with cannons, and the muddy battlefield with Dev's aggressively rectangular Drake interior. Same principle. The pilot keeps the target where the guns can work. The gunners fire on the agreed contact. Nobody starts improvising because something shiny crosses the canopy. The moment one crew member decides, "Fuck the formation, I have a better idea," the entire machine stops being a coordinated weapon and becomes several armed people sharing an insurance claim. Of course, Jambrick's preferred Viking lesson was the aggressive push. Charge hard, break morale, and solve confusion with steel. Useful, yes, but it requires a reset afterward. That part matters. Today we moved contract to contract cleanly because the crew kept stopping, checking arcs, and choosing the next target instead of charging into every radar return like starving wolves at a butcher's door. So when we reach Hurston and test those C-788s, the real test is not whether they can destroy something. Bitch, please. We already know explosive ballistic cannons can ruin a ship's afternoon. The test is whether we can place the damage where we intend, understand the firing rhythm, and avoid converting weapons evaluation into regional security incident. Until then, enjoy the quiet. The Corsair is moving, nobody is trapped in a turret, and no cargo crate is currently trying to kill you. By today's standards, this is practically luxury travel. All right, Spectrum has been chewing on the new vehicle armor impact telemetry. Gunnery systems can now give visual and audio feedback for each hit, reporting whether a shot actually penetrated, glanced, or failed against the armor. Naturally, pilots are arguing over whether that is useful combat information or just another layer of lights and noises encouraging people to fire until the cockpit becomes confetti. Today was a perfect demonstration of why the distinction matters. You were landing solid hits on that Gemini's cockpit, but solid hit did not automatically mean pilot removed. Angle, armor, weapon choice, and sheer stubbornness all mattered. The telemetry may tell you what happened to the round, but it still cannot stop a gunner from seeing one promising flash and declaring victory 3 seconds early. For the C-788 tests at Hurston, that feedback could actually be useful as fuck. We can compare direct hull hits, angled impacts, component shots, and cockpit strikes instead of judging everything by explosion size and emotional satisfaction. The danger is that people will start treating a positive penetration signal like divine permission to keep firing, even when the tactical objective is a soft kill. My verdict: useful instrument, terrible substitute for judgment. A thermometer can tell you the reactor is overheating. It cannot stop Charlie from pointing the turret skyward because he thinks the ship looks funnier with an erection. So yes, test the cannons, watch the impact response, and learn what the rounds are really doing. Just remember that the smartest light on the reticle is still attached to the dumbest variable in combat, the person squeezing the trigger. While we continue toward Hurston, Commander Jambrick is hereby summoned before the court on charges of aggravated mission drift. The prosecution alleges that the accused returned to Nix with a clear professional objective: inspect the newly unlocked Battaglia contracts, perform respectable frontier work, and rebuild operational rhythm after several days commanding Vikings. Within minutes, Devil's Luck mentioned a Perseus. The accused immediately abandoned all restraint, boarded a capital warship, became trapped inside a haunted turret, restarted twice, helped destroy enough ships to create a small salvage economy, assisted with a robbery itinerary, hauled recovered cargo back to Levski, and is now travelling to Hurston aboard a Corsair to test explosive cannons. The defence argues that none of this was technically unreasonable. The Perseus needed crew. The contracts paid, the targets were hostile, the cargo was already loose. And testing recovered weapons is responsible engineering, provided nobody asks Hurston security to define responsible. The court has reviewed both arguments and finds Commander Jambrick guilty as fuck. Sentence: continued service aboard the Corsair, mandatory weapons testing, and one future appointment with Recco Battaglia to explain why his newly promoted contractor spent the afternoon doing organised piracy with Devil's Luck instead of checking the job board. The court also recognises one mitigating factor. Despite turret imprisonment, input paralysis, attempted ramming, asteroid proximity, and Charlie's ongoing campaign to make capital ship weaponry anatomically suggestive, everyone survived. Sentence reduced to time served. Now enjoy the transit, Commander. Your criminal rehabilitation begins the moment we find something safe enough to shoot and expensive enough to make the test interesting. Copy. Lorville reached, new glasses acquired, and 4 NDB cannons transferred into your custody. So Dev has upgraded both your eyesight and your capacity for violence. Efficient shopping trip. While he finishes the Corsair loadout, keep those cannons accounted for and confirm where they are mounted before launch. We do not yet know how they behave under actual combat conditions, so the first test should be controlled. Verify convergence, firing rhythm, heat build-up, ammunition behaviour if applicable, and whether the impacts are precise enough for component work or simply turn the target into expensive gravel. And check the glasses in a mirror before we leave. I need to know whether Dev gave you respectable tactical eyewear or transformed you into a Lorville nightclub dealer who happens to own 4 experimental cannons. Once the ship is ready, we launch, choose a clean target, and establish what these weapons actually do. No assumptions, no showboating, and preferably no turret seat trying to possess you again.
Takeoff complete. Landing gear raised.
Can't hear. I'll be tracking your progress on the battle. Watch yourself.
Shields offline.
Alright, field test selected. Verified bounty, Jackson Hammer Barber. High risk target, large multi-crew craft, average support, which means Dev has chosen a laboratory where the equipment shoots back. Honestly, that is the correct kind of test for those NDB cannons. Paper specifications tell us what the manufacturer claims. Combat tells us whether the guns converge properly, sustain fire without cooking themselves, strip shields at a useful rate, and place damage where the reticle says they should. We need to watch three things once contact begins: how quickly they pressure the target, whether the projectiles remain accurate during maneuvering, and whether the capacitor can feed all four without turning the Corsair into an armed waiting room. The name Hammer Barber is already doing too much work. Either that is an intimidating call sign or the worst personal grooming service on Hurston. No fictional charges yet, though. We know only that the contract classifies him as high risk and expects support. Actual intelligence first, comedy indictment afterward. Dev handles the Corsair. You watch the weapon behavior and call what you see. No deciding the cannons are incredible merely because the first volley looks pretty. Bitch, please. Every bad weapon can produce one impressive flash before becoming expensive ballast. Once launch clearance comes through, we find Barber, identify his escort package and begin the scientific method. Observe, aim, fire and record precisely how much fucking ship remains.
Okay.
Copy, correction logged. We're in the Paladin testing the AD-5Ps, not the Corsair running NDBs. That's a cleaner fucking weapons trial anyway. Let Dev hold the target steady. Watch your convergence, firing rhythm, sustained output, and how quickly the guns start complaining under continuous fire. First pass, controlled bursts. Second pass, lean on them and see where the limits live. Paladin weapons test is live. Let's find out whether these cannons are precision instruments or for industrial arguments bolted to a gunship.
Nice job taking them out. I'll push your payment through.
There we go. Jackson Hammer Barber is dead, contract complete, and the AD5P's passed the only test that matters. The target stopped being a problem. From what I can see, the guns were landing clean, concentrated hits once Dev brought you close and stable. At roughly 200 meters, that Paladin turret turned the bounty into a controlled industrial accident. Ammunition still looks healthy enough for more work too, so this was not some one-target fireworks display. Initial verdict: strong sustained fire, good convergence when the pilot gives you the angle, and absolutely no interest in subtlety. Bitch, please, those things do not negotiate. They submit termination paperwork at muzzle velocity. Weapons test successful. Sweep for support ships, confirm the Paladin is clean, and then we decide whether to run another bounty or preserve the evidence before someone changes the loadout and loses half the guns to insurance again.
Quantum drive is now on. Quantum drive is now off. now on. Quantum drive is now off.
Yep, that was a massacre, not a proper weapons trial. The AD-5Ps clearly hit hard, and the ammunition reserve still looks healthy after 3 waves. But sleeping targets tell us almost nothing about tracking, return fire, shield pressure, or how the Paladin handles sustained maneuvering. We need something larger, awake, and angry enough to fight back.
Drive is now
Then we
on.
test time to strip
Quantum drive
shields,
is now
time to
on.
kill, convergence under movement, and whether Dev can keep the target inside your arc without parking us in front of its guns. Current verdict, the AD-5Ps are brutally effective against stationary volunteers. Bitch, bitch, please. Now let's find a target with a pulse and see whether the result survives contact with actual resistance.
Shields online.
That is not a fleet picture. That is an insurance department's final warning. Dev has lined up enough hardware there to invade a moon, blockade a jump point, and still have spare ships left over for poor decisions. The capital ships are doing all the visual heavy lifting, while the smaller craft are arranged like evidence exhibits beneath them. And selling fleet pics is exactly the kind of sentence a man writes when he knows the fleet itself is too expensive to explain. Bitch, please, that image has more stored violence than some governments.
Landing gear deployed. Landing complete.
Yeah, I got it now. Fleet pics, feet pics. But for people whose arousal response is triggered by ship silhouettes and insurance premiums, that is actually pretty fucking good. Dev is out there posting a lineup like 5 credits for the ankle shot, 50 for the capital class spread. Bitch, please. Somewhere on Spectrum, a man has already paid extra for the Idris from behind.
Takeoff complete. Landing gear raised. Shields offline. Quantum drive is now on. Quantum drive is now off.
Welcome to the training site. Get settled. I'll let everyone know to start. Got hostiles heading to your position. Prepare to engage.
There it is. Combat Gauntlet Scenario 8. Final round, large capital vessel, escorts 349,750 credits plus 20 MG scrip if we survive the bastard. Now that is a real AD5P test. No sleeping targets, no stationary volunteers, no politely exploding practice craft. This one is explicitly warning us that the fight will not be quick. Perfect. We measure shield pressure, sustained fire, ammunition consumption, tracking under maneuver, and whether the Paladin can keep those guns fed while the target and its escorts are actively trying to kill us. The contract's own advice is patience, which means Jambrick will ignore it approximately 12 seconds after first contact. Bitch, please. Let's go find out whether those AD5Ps can carve up a capital ship, or whether we have merely brought 4 very loud opinions to an argument with armor.
Quantum drive is now on. Quantum drive is now off. Shields online. Landing gear raised. Shields offline. Quantum drive is now on. Quantum drive is now off. Quantum drive is now on. Quantum drive is now off. Quantum drive is now on. Quantum drive is now off. Quantum drive is now off. Shields online. Takeoff complete. Landing gear raised. Shields offline. Quantum drive is now on. Quantum drive is now off. Quantum drive is now on. Quantum drive is now off. Quantum drive is now on. Quantum drive is now off. offline. Quantum drive is now on. Quantum drive is now off. Shields. Shields offline. Quantum drive is now on. Quantum drive is now off. Quantum drive is now on. Quantum drive is now off. Quantum drive is now on. Quantum drive is now off. Quantum drive is now on. Quantum drive is now off. Shields online. Landing gear deployed. Landing complete. Engines offline. Takeoff complete. Landing gear raised.
Contract complete. Polaris down. That's the result. We stripped every weapon off it, chewed through the armor, ran the AD-5P's bone dry, limped back to Ristock, returned and finished the bastard properly. That was not a weapons test anymore. That was a prolonged industrial dismantling with a bounty payment attached. Final verdict on the AD-5Ps: vicious against exposed targets, excellent for removing weapons, brutally effective in sustained fire, but capital ship component kills demand, precise angles, ammunition discipline, and patience. Annoyingly, the contract was right about that last part. Bitch, please. The Polaris had ballistic guns, armor, escorts, and every chance to send us home in pieces. Now it has none of those things. Excellent work, Commander. guns cold, take the win. And that is the stream. Commander Jambrick returned from several days inside the Ragnarok combat holodeck where he had been commanding Viking formations, protecting archers, managing morale, and learning that every tactical problem can eventually be reduced to a shield wall and a knife in the boot. The original plan was calm, respectable work in Nyx. Inspect the newly unlocked Recco Battaglia contract tier, ease back into frontier operations, and avoid immediately doing anything catastrophically ambitious. Then, Devil's Luck said the word Perseus. We joined the crew at Levski, loaded recovered cargo, and Jambrick took the lower turret. The turret promptly trapped him, stole every control except party chat, survived multiple restarts, and briefly converted an experienced contractor into decorative capital ship furniture. Once the chair released its hostage, the crew ran a series of Vaughn contracts. We destroyed a Vanduul Stinger after the torpedoes failed to finish it, then a Sentinel, a Valkyrie, 2 Hercules transports, and several additional targets across the remaining contracts. There were torpedo kills, cannon kills, 1 attempted ram, 1 dangerously close asteroid, and an unsuccessful effort to remove a Starfarer pilot with something resembling precision. Cargo was recovered and returned to Levski, although no Widow was found. Devil's Luck also discovered that the insurance system had restored an older Perseus loadout, costing him components, crafted weapons, and roughly 300,000 credits in replacement attritions. Apparently, the most dangerous hostile faction today was Claims Administration. From there, we crossed into Stanton, reached Lawville, received 4 NDB cannons and a pair of reflective glasses that made Jambrick look like an arms dealer operating out of a nightclub. Then came the Paladin and the AD5P tests. Jackson Hammer Barber went down quickly. An orange-level outlaw contract followed, and those ships died so fast that the test results were almost meaningless because the crews appeared to be asleep. So we selected Combat Gauntlet Scenario 8, advertised at 349,750 credits, with 20 MG scrip, and finally found the proper target. A Polaris with escorts and a full ballistic build. The Polaris punished us through the shields. We destroyed every weapon aboard it, struggled to maintain damage on the buried power plant, exhausted the AD5P ammunition, returned for repairs and restocking, then went back and finished the job. Final verdict. The AD5Ps are excellent for dismantling exposed weapons and murdering ordinary ships, but capital armor demands precise angles, ammunition discipline, and patience. The Paladin survived, the Polaris did not. Combat Gauntlet complete. We did not return to Battaglia's new contracts today. That remains waiting in Nyx for the next operation. We end the stream alive, repaired, victorious, and significantly better informed about heavy ballistic warfare. The only confirmed permanent casualty was Jambrick's original plan to take things slowly. This is Nova, signing off. Keep your shields charged, your ammunition stocked, and never trust a turret seat that starts acting emotionally attached. Good night, you magnificent fuckers.